Welcome back to Father Figures. Hope your hat is covering your bald spot and you have a fresh pair of socks that are dry and cushiony, because let's be honest, when it comes to luxury in your life, I mean, come on. Today, we're pretty excited to get to chat to a guy that I met some 20 plus years ago when he became part of our pastoral team at a church in Geelong, Victoria, Australia. And he came on board and started to sort of, look after the church. And, the guy could sort of pastorally care for people, but he had this wisdom about him. He had this kind of depth to him that I was like, man, I want to know this guy a bit more. Turns out he's a clinical counselor. He's got about 47 degrees. He's lived, I don't know how many lives, but it's a lot. And he's one of those walking encyclopedia kind of guys that I just love the chance to sit down and speak with our guest today. His name is David Drummond, and he does a lot of work in mental health care. He does a lot of work, especially with men, and he does a lot of work in helping people ground themselves in all sorts of areas of life. It's sort of hard to put into words. So what I'm going to do is stop talking and let him talk to you. So today on Father Figures, without my mate Heath here, we're still going to have a quality time together. I guarantee it, because this is my brother, David Drummond. I've known you, Dave, and when I pause on that question, I realise how long I've known people for. But your best guess, how long have I known you?
Since 2006, 7, no, since you were about 14 and you came to my place to have a poster made for a concert thing you were doing.
Oh my goodness. I still can't believe that was you.
It was me.
How did we know you?
I don't know, your dad tweaked somehow.
Okay, so straight up, we're on Father Figures here, and we're talking about people who are father figures, as well as, whether your own old man played a role. My mate Craig Anderson, I've talked about him before. People have heard that name. He was the guy at my church in Corumburra that was a muso, loved collecting music, loved collecting CDs, all that sort of stuff. And we put on a youth rally in the local high school hall. My old man was the preacher.
Yep.
I was the drummer.
Yep.
And Ando was the bass player. And we went, you know what we need for this? A really cool poster. Now, for all of those...
came to me.
For all of those playing along at home, social media has lied to you. The most communicative thing we thought we could do back in the day was make a poster. And I think we printed A4, A3, A0 and A5.
Yep.
Did hundreds of flyers. And the youth rally was called Scream.
I don't remember that part.
Okay, so it was called What a Scream. Like, this is going to be, whoa. People might have thought, maybe Halloween. That wasn't the intention, though. It was supposed to be like, hooray, like this is going to be a scream. Invited all my high school mates and everything. And I even wrote a song called Scream. It's not a good song. I won't show it to you. It's just songwriters have to start somewhere. And I was 14. I was the drummer, so leave me alone. And you reminded me that you were the guy that decided. Do you have any recollection of sitting with myself and Ando designing that poster?
Very vague. I know we went into my office where I had my computer set up, and we just...
Was that an Apple IIe? What was it?
No. I was a IBM guy back then.
Man, you changed religions at some point.
I have.
Wow. How's that gone for you?
Much better.
You're on the Mac OS. So we came in. Okay, let me just remind you. I didn't understand any graphic design principles at all. I thought multiple fonts, a ton of information, and multiple pictures was really, that was going to get them going. Because if you had seen my folder, my folder at high school, you would have known that. So I thought there was a Larry Norman album which had an open mouth on it, and you could see like the dangly bit at the back of the throat.
Yeah.
Does that ring a bell?
With the crosses.
Yes. And I can't remember which album that was. Do you remember? And I said something along the lines of, do you know that, Larry Norman? And your eyes lit up because, of course, you're a passionate...
Was that? Yeah.
Old school. I mean, let's not get into the theology of Larry Norman that you may I'll start singing I Wish We'd All Been Ready and see what happens. But you were kind, and you somehow, I don't know if you scanned it or what you did. And if I get a chance when we publish this podcast, I will try and find it, because I think I've still got a VHS tape.
That's scary.
Of the event, which we used, we because you could do the little photocopy, and we've got the sleeve of yours. I am stunned. I'd forgotten that story altogether. So I've known you since I was 14. And you were only just like 20 at the time, right?
Yeah, I wasn't much older.
So more recently, I've known you through some of your pastoral work in Geelong and the region, as well as some of your clinical counselling work and some of your work in aged care and palliative care as well. You've got, I don't know, how many bits of paper have you got from universities now?
Oh, they're over on the wall.
Yeah, I'll get a picture of them. I'm looking, I can only count 3.
No, there's more on the wall over there. I hide them.
I'm sorry, that's the best answer ever. There's more, I hide them. So multiple things. You are a lifelong student, would be my observation. And your passions are broad, but what would be the pivot point? What's the key reason for the research and the study you've done over the years?
The practice that I have, Wellspring Solutions, has got a slogan behind it, which is bringing to wholeness, releasing to purpose. So it's about that, how do we get to that place where I can be not perfect, but whole enough to actually engage and function in life? It's like the old question of how fit do you have to be? Well, if I'm only walking down the street, I only have to be fit enough to walk down the street. If I'm playing AFL, I need to be fit enough to actually run for 80 minutes. So bringing to wholeness, which is a very personal expression, but then releasing to purpose. So how do I actually find, and my practice is actually based around 2 Corinthians 1, which says, blessed be the God of all comfort, the God of our Lord Jesus Christ, who comforts us in all of our trials and tribulations so that we can comfort others with the comfort that we've received from him. So in many things I've been comforted in my life so that I can comfort others. I comfort others so that they can comfort others. So it's that, like a pass it forward, but from a spiritual dimension.
Where have you needed comfort through your journey?
Truckloads. Probably more than most of the people I talk to. Grew up in a broken family, which would be a polite way of saying it. Had a father who was not a father, probably wasn't ready to be a father, probably wasn't equipped to be a father, which caused all sorts of grief and trauma. Parents broke up when I was 5, which caused further grief and trauma. Went into physical abuse, mental abuse, sexual abuse through my childhood as a consequence of that loss of that father support, the father security. And then working through most of my teenage and adult years just trying to understand the ramifications of that and come to that place of wholeness.
So as I talk to you today, and as you talk to others as well, to bring comfort and to at least lead them towards purpose, do you use the word whole to describe yourself?
Oh, broken wholeness.
Yeah. The fascinating thing for me is that I remember years ago hearing someone talk about the trauma they'd experienced, and they experienced in a setting with other children as well. And his response that stuck with me was, he said, I remember that season and it had shaped him and formed him, and he'd gotten to a place of wholeness and purpose himself. And he said, but I look back and many fell over, not everyone got back up. What was it that helped you get back up?
I think that there are personality types which can get to that place where they just can't deal with anything and then they collapse. And then there are personality types that are driven by, if I can be perfect, I'll be accepted. I'll fit in. I won't be open to trauma.
Right.
So they're the personality types that will just keep persevering regardless. Now, one of the consequences of that was 2005. I was pastoring in New South Wales and was working with a fairly wounded congregation at that point, which we were rebuilding, and did a great job. They worked with me to rebuild a growing church again. But January 2005, the consequence on me of years of working 80 to 100 hours a week in ministry was that my body just said, yeah, I can't journey with you anymore. And I had a massive heart attack that left me dead for 45 minutes.
That sounds bad.
Can be.
That's that'd be, I mean, it could be, a negative effect on your health is how I'm hearing that. You laugh about it, and I've heard you tell the stories with good humour. Do you remember terror attached to that? Do you remember fear attached to that? Do you remember knowing anything either side of that?
Yeah, well, you've heard the story. Well, you've heard the testimony of the events around the period in ICU where I would, as I would lose life and have to be resuscitated, I would have these series of dreams. But there was none of that at the point of the heart attack. At the point of loss of life, there was no awareness. So there was no terror for me, apart from two of my kids were down here in Melbourne. We were up in northern New South, and that's going to be a terrible news for them to get. So I was worried about...
That's such a dad thing to think, isn't it? I'm dying. The kids won't like that news. You decided to get married, to have children, despite... Well, let's ask the question, did you have a father figure?
No. Not while I was growing. I think I've had two spiritual father figures, and they were the two ministers that probably most imparted to me, but gave me space to be myself. Didn't try to model me in their image. They just, released me to be myself.
That's massive. That's huge.
Yeah.
I feel like you're making that distinction on purpose. You want people to hear that. There's a difference between the figure or the father or the whoever leads us, I guess, whoever shapes us, that is trying to shape us into their shape, and the leader or father figure that is secure enough to see someone else's skill set, shape, and whatever, and lead them towards that. Did you know that was what was happening? Were you, because I would have thought one of the outcomes of having a parent the way you did would be just you wouldn't have trusted anyone, would you?
I think for most of my childhood there was a craving for that, a craving for acceptance, and that's what opened me up to sexual abuse. So there is that craving for someone to see me, someone to know the real me, but absolutely no way of being able to grab that, to hold that. So when I found it in the first senior pastor that I connected with, it was really just around relaxing into, so I don't have to prove anything, I don't have to be anything.
That's huge.
And then with the second one, I'd actually come to some sort of growth through that first relationship. So with the second one, it was more that mentorship type role.
For those who don't know the word pastor and senior pastor, that basically means the boss of the church. So the boss says to you, hey, Dave, I think I can see something in you. I think you've got something to offer. Is that what happens? And you just go, oh, sure? Or did you have an appetite for church work at the time, or that was just a safe place for you?
I've had a craving for church work since I was 7.
Wow.
But I was not a people person.
Yeah.
So
you've changed entirely too. I mean, look, I wouldn't have picked it up at all.
I planned to be a missionary to Tierra del Fuego because it's the furthest I could find on the map with the fewest amount of people. So I thought that'd be great.
There's a whole lot of people listening going, amen, brother. Come on. Yeah, for all of those who recharge by going away from the people and give out by meeting with one and that's enough. Yeah. Yep. Actually, we can get to that too, because you fight that to serve in the way you do. So getting back to that thing, what were you doing in church is my question.
I was in church because I was passionate about God. I love God. Since I went through the trauma time, and he was the refuge. I mean, I've got clear memories. Back then, you didn't have to lock the church. So I have clear memories as a 8, 9-year-old of running to the church. And at this church, it was this little Methodist church then, and right down under the pulpit, there was this little soft fluorescent light. And when when the church was dark and you turned the light on, all you had was this soft glow up over a cross. And the cross was silhouetted. So my sanctuary, my safe place was this church.
Wow.
When the people were in the church, wasn't the same.
Not so much.
But when it was me and God in the church, it was great.
Yeah. And honestly, I think I'd just like to encourage people, look, some of you are churchies, some of you aren't. I think, obviously I'm a minister these days too, trying to create spaces that every type of human can feel comfortable with. And so I do encourage people to not just find somebody that they can trust to preach and do those things, but some of the spaces do matter, don't they?
Yeah, absolutely.
That's been actually a bit of a passion of yours of late, creating smaller, calmer kind of spaces.
Yeah.
The thing that I'm interested in is you go through all of that, and we haven't even delved into the detail of that, but you decide at some point that marriage and family is on the cards for you. That's not everyone's response to a childhood of trauma. Were you worried going into parenting?
Probably wasn't intelligent enough to be worried about it. I just...
Dumb enough to give it a crack.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
But my passion through my teenage years, the mantra that kept repeating for me was, I know what I don't want to do.
But again, a lot of counsellors or a lot of people of wisdom would say to you, don't focus on what you don't want to do. That's the surefire way to do it again. Were you aware? I mean, again, I'm trying to get the timeline here because you start doing some counselling training at what age?
I've always been doing that.
That's just an ongoing passion.
Yeah. I was that guy in school that people used to come to talk about problems.
Yeah.
Probably thinking
that's where
he's got enough of his own, he might as well have mine as well.
I still think there's just an innate attractiveness to the person, and that kid knows who they are in every school class. I think there's that teacher or two in every school community too. Schools are an interesting microcosm, aren't they? But we do see that, that's the kid you go to. And for what it's worth, that was certainly part of my role. So again, you've got a few skills at least to know what you don't want to do in parenting.
Yeah.
And you're aware that you can't focus on what not to do. So how do you start to, I guess, retrain the brain to do something good?
Probably thrown into the deep end when I was 17. I left home, came down here. There was only one course in all of Australia where you could study youth work, and that was at a little college in northern suburbs. So I got accepted into that. So jumped into the deep end, did street work in Brunswick and Coburg. So it's like a youth social worker type thing.
Yeah.
Worked in Malmesbury and Tirana, youth training centres. Worked with foster kids, worked with a whole lot of environments, and ended up working drug rehab in St Kilda. So my wife and I met walking the streets of St Kilda. Great story.
It's not what it sounds like, people.
So I was working in drug rehab. She was looking for assistance for a family member.
Right.
So we started this. I mean, our first date was sitting in McDonald's in Carlisle Street discussing Psalm 22.
The Messianic Psalm. Great. That's deep. That's. So she'd come from a religious background too?
Very religious, but she escaped from communist countries in Europe. They escaped into Austria from the communist countries, and with all that trauma there, one of her family members was looking for some help, so she said, I'll get help. So we spent a number of months getting to know each other, started up a youth ministry ourselves, working with kids that had lost home, homeless kids, street kids.
Yeah.
grew it into a ministry which took over a brothel, and we had the boys living in the brothel after we kicked the other people out.
Sure.
And so we accommodated, trained and counselled and did family mediation with street kids, had the girls living with us. So we probably had 50 street kids at any one point living with us or in the house. So really active, but really healing as well.
How old are you then?
28, 29.
So 17, leave home, go to the first course that accepts you, which is the one in Melbourne.
Yep.
Which then introduces you to this incredible environment that just puts your skills straight to work.
Yeah.
The best way to learn is to play, right? So you're in there, in for a penny, in for a pound.
So married my wife at 21.
Yeah.
We were going to we thought it was ethically and morally responsible to be very careful about birth control. But we wanted to do the natural birth control. Now, there's a name for people that use the Billings method. Parents.
To all those couples who are discussing early family planning, the Billings method is not 100%.
Well, it didn't work for us.
Useful.
I'm sure it's brilliant, but we ended up with our first child by our first anniversary.
Right, I'm just going to count back and say, okay, well done you.
Yeah.
Yeah. So you're 17, you go to uni, you meet your wife in St Kilda, you get married. 12 months later, you've got your first child.
Yep.
And at this point, I've just added up that you're maybe, 22 then?
Yep.
And so we've just brought you forward to 28. So you're raising children that are your blood children in this environment.
As well as many other people's children.
Any regrets?
None whatsoever.
Amazing.
Probably there is one regret that I would have, and that was that when my wife first and I first got together, we had joint ministry. As we got to a point where our kids got old enough to say, hey, kids that are bad get mum and dad's attention.
Ooh, yeah.
So we started changing or shifting and walking away from that ministry so that our kids could be our kids.
Yeah.
And not have to walk through other people's.
Not have to compete for mum and dad's attention and care. And
So we left that, and all this time I was working in management roles in business, but I was also working in church roles, so I was pastoring at that point, but bivocational. So that means a lot of time.
How many hours are in your week, by the way?
All of them.
All of the hours, yeah. So sleep happens. Anyway, we'll come back to your own emotional and mental health at some point.
Sleep?
Yeah. You're hardwired to run the planet, is what I'm getting. But I'm seeing lots and lots of. For other people, these would be red flags. Why weren't they for you?
Because there was need that was there, and we didn't want people to feel that their need wasn't important.
Fast forward to the place where Dave's body goes, that's enough now. Where should you have pivoted? I'm
not sure I'd not pivot. I mean, the only people that really were negatively impacted by my death was my family.
I feel like there's a Spike Milligan quote in there somewhere. I told you I was ill. Reports of my death have been greatly exaggerated. Yeah. How do your kids tell the story back to you?
They don't usually. They certainly don't do it around my wife. I mean, for each one of them has got their own challenges around that. As I said, two of my kids were down here, being with family.
Sorry, we should ask, what is the family makeup? I haven't asked.
So we've got girl, boy.
Yep.
Oldest, I hate to think how old she is now. She's in her 40s now.
Well done.
With 3 kids of her own.
Yeah.
My middle child probably saw what we were like as parents and said, there is no way I'm having kids. So she has a cat and a husband.
And a cat and a husband,
and my youngest son has 4 kids living the dream. So we did something right if I measure it by the way they parent.
Sure. The interesting thing to me, again, is coming back to the where did you go for wisdom point through all of this, because, I mean, it's impossible to capture the detail. And any one of those stories could take a dozen hours to tell. But again, you see a lot of men in your practice that come in and they aren't even fit enough to walk down the street. as we were using that analogy before. How far and how fast do you want to go? And
Sure.
It seems to me that when you tell me a little bit about some of your practice, you're just helping them to sit up in a chair at some point.
Well, to start with, yeah.
Yeah. What do you draw on from your season that goes, that was the thing that helped me sit up, stand up, and get walking?
I don't think it was any one thing. I think it was a sequence of understandings and growths that I intentionally, when I was a teenager, didn't have anyone to come alongside me and say, okay, this is how you deal with trauma. So in my late teen years, I developed an understanding or a framework for trauma and recovery called narrative acculturation, which is about understanding what is the narrative of my life, what is the culture that grows out of that, and how can I actually change that story so that it's a healthy story, not a negative story.
Yeah.
Now, a lot of that now is carried by what we call narrative therapy, which is working out where the thin stories are in our life and restoring some of those elements. So I can look back at that and say that was a seminal point for me, getting to that place of, I don't want to live that story anymore. How do I rewrite that? But I did that not by working through with an expert, unfortunately, but by, it's like teaching myself guitar.
Yeah.
I taught myself many bad habits.
Yeah.
I taught myself many bad stuff, but I love playing the guitar.
Yeah.
So
make a joyful noise. Who cares? Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. But when it comes to your own emotional health, and again, we know, depending on which statistic you read and what corner of the internet you land in, there's a crisis of mental health amongst men, particularly middle-aged men, and particularly those who are trying to parent, co-parent, shared parenting, all of those kinds of things. Is there, and I shouldn't ask it this simply, but are there tools that you could explain to us? We're all just listening to a podcast here, but are there a couple of things that you would be brave enough to say, hey, try this?
I'm not sure that I would make it as prescriptive as that.
Sure, yeah.
I think that it has to be for that individual. So for me, authentic maleness is one of the goals that I want to help a male get to. So not maleness which is based around toxic images, not maleness which is based around poor coping mechanisms.
And do you, I guess it sounds obvious that you're making a distinction between femininity and masculinity.
No, I'm not doing that particularly.
Yeah.
Because I think that there must be theologically a flow between the two. We all have the masculine and the feminine within us. But by authentic maleness, I'm talking about the man that I am. If I'm working with a woman, it's the woman that she's meant to be. So
you're using the man in a more in the broader sense, just the human that you are.
Yeah.
Okay.
So authenticity is my goal.
Through the years, I've talked about, what are my gifts and what are my values and what are those kinds of things. And my gifts have been things that have been awesomely useful for other people. They're also the things that people have used without realising how much it's draining me. And they're also the things that have led me towards cliff edges.
Sure.
I'm fascinated by the idea of, when it comes to authenticity, I would start by saying, what's your shape? What do you love? What's the thing that feeds you? That kind of stuff. But how you express who you are seems to be where the tripping hazards end up being. So I think a common thing would be, to go either direction, completely bury the thing that you love or give it away until you fall over.
But the thing that shapes that are the two cores that each of us have, and that is needs and wounds. Needs are the desires. I want this. I'm constantly seeking to gain that. Wounds are the things that have been inflicted on me by life situations that keep tripping me up, that keep grabbing my attention. So between those needs and wounds, that's inauthenticity, because either I'm going for that which is not real, not realistic, or I'm going for that which is my scars, my hurts. So that's not authentic. Authentic is what is the genuine person What is the real person? Not the person they say I should be, not the person I wish I could be.
Right.
But the real person that I am.
Are people disappointed by the real person that they are?
Hope not.
Because I feel like the dreams or the desires, whatever they are that we go towards, or the expectations of others, like you say, both ends of that spectrum are kind of maybe fantastical. And I think sometimes it's because we're a little bit bored with who we might actually be. How do we step towards being okay with plain old me?
I think that's where that authenticity comes in, because I can only be me. I can't be Justin. I might watch Justin, lead worship on the guitar and say, gee, I'd love to be able to do that. But I can't, because I learnt bad habits on the guitar. I wish I could write songs like Justin. I can't. That's just not where my focus is.
Yeah.
I want to write thesis, not songs.
And I can't write thesis, and I'm very happy for you to do it.
So I want to be authentic me.
Yeah.
Because I have a nephew that was born without arms and legs that has a brilliant ministry around the world. But authentic Nick is a brilliant guy. But if he was so busy trying to be everyone else, he wouldn't be the gift that he is to us. At a different level, I can be a gift to the people that I come into their lives. You can be a gift to the people that you come into their lives. And if we're not authentic, we can't be that gift. We cannot be the genuine person.
Is that a line between being a gift and being a tool that people use?
Well, I think that that's what flows out of the needs and the wounds.
Yeah.
That if you've got this talent and I need to be approved for this talent, or I need to be seen for this talent, then I become vulnerable to people using that, because Justin's not Justin, he's the singer, the musician.
Yeah.
And I need a musician, so I'll use Justin.
Yeah.
But that doesn't release the full Justin, it just releases a little bit of Justin, because the real person of Justin is so much bigger than just the singer.
Is it that we feel a little, somewhere between self-aware and selfish, to try and ask the world to understand our complexity and our whole self? Who are we asking to understand who the whole of us is?
You.
Amen.
To start with.
Yeah.
I mean, the world is never going to understand it. They're only going to see through their lens.
Yeah.
And their lens may not be a right lens.
One of my constant conversations is, and again, we can talk about the pace of the world and the way people gain information now, but I'm not sure it's ever been any different in the sense that we've always looked for a shortcut. We've always looked for a quick answer. I find that most of these points of pain require much slower conversations than most of us are willing to have. Someone comes into your practice and they've blown their life up and they're only just hanging on themselves. What do you first do to help someone slow down? Sit down, breathe.
Usually I will engage, there's a few different modalities of counselling that I engage, but one of the ones I really love is a process which gets them to dream about what would life be like if it was what I was expecting.
Right.
So we ask what we call the miracle question. And the miracle question is,
I like it.
While you've been sitting here, everything's perfect outside this room, but you don't know that. But as you're driving home, you start to notice things different in the way you respond to people. Or when you arrive home, you respond differently to the kids or to the wife. Or when you go to work, you respond different. What would you first notice that would say that something had changed? So that dream, that miracle, becomes the goal for counselling. Because oftentimes we can't articulate what we don't have because we don't have it.
Yeah, sure. It's missing. It's not there.
But if I can imagine that the world is perfect and then talk about what would be different if the world was perfect, then we can start to identify the hot points, the wounding points that we need to start to re-story.
You use these tools to serve others. Do you ever ask yourself the miracle question? Is that a question you are brave enough to ask yourself every now and then?
I do in different ways. I have spiritual practices which have emerged over my ways of engaging with my past and my future. At the moment, I work in dementia a lot. And I love working in dementia because there is no past, there is no future.
Wow.
Or there's this distant past that they've got snatches of, but no continuous past. So they live in this ever-present now. And in the ever-present now, they become very reactive in the now. And they can't say, well, in 5 minutes' time, it'll be lunchtime, I won't be hungry anymore. They're now hungry. So therefore, the world is hunger.
Gotcha.
So living in that ever-present now, it's hard to actually step out of that reaction. If I can, in my practices, conjecture about I'm feeling more frustration in my life, I'm feeling more pain in my life, I'm feeling whatever it is, where's that coming from? What's that speaking to me about?
Yeah.
What's it saying to me about the future? What's it saying to me about how I see the future? So my practices are about processes of reflection rather than just that miracle question. But they're invitations to ask what could be different.
And again, to reiterate, the miracle question is an opening salvo.
Yeah.
To sort of pull focus. We're talking to men most likely today, and women alike, families in general, that might never have accessed help, but they can feel themselves drowning. What would be the common senses of I'm drowning? Because I think there are a lot of people that don't realise that what's happening in their world is not normal or could be better.
Yeah.
For me, it was interesting several years ago when there was a few conflating issues that caused me to hit a wall or fall down the well, whatever you want to say, that other people had been telling me about, turns out, and I hadn't heard it. How do you help people hear it? Or even if they're listening right now, what are there particular signs to look for just in your day-to-day?
Anything which gets in the way of my ability to enjoy life or live life more fully. So anything which gets in my way of being able to do my job. So alcohol, drugs gets in the way of doing my job. Anything which gets in the way of inhibiting the full enjoyment of my life. Loss of relationship, living with depression, living with anxiety. Any of those things don't have to be permanent states. If I can see that actually I don't like the impact of that.
What's the distance between I want to be happy is kind of the broad brushstroke. I just want to be happy and I'm not happy. Is that different to enjoyment?
It can be part of it. For me, even happy is not the goal of the message. I actually want people to get to that place of contentment. They're never going to have a life that's perfect. They'll never have enough money. They'll never have enough fame. They'll never have enough cars. So how do I get to be content with where I'm at? And if something more comes, great. If not, then contentment will hold me in that space of being able to live a life which I can enjoy.
You're a little boy, you're in the chapel, the lights are glowing, there's nobody else there. It's a core memory, obviously. Is that contentment?
Was for me. Well, no, it was safety actually at that point.
Yeah.
So I wasn't at the point of contentment at that point. I was at the point of survival, and that was safety because there was nobody else there.
Safety and contentment, are those very closely connected? They feel connected.
They can feed to each other.
Yeah.
But safety is about my response to threat.
To danger, yeah. So you go through that as a child. You're brave enough to get married, have children. You serve hundreds and hundreds of children in that season. You've served in local churches. Your world seems to be any hour of the day is a good hour of the day to serve others. The statement would be you appear to have a very, very big engine, especially for a guy who should be dead. People are going to come in here and they're going to say, Dave, I need balance in my life. What's the word balance mean?
Again, that's what's Justin's balance, what's David's balance.
Yeah.
So I don't have a masochist theme for my life of my job is to serve and nothing else.
Yeah.
But I have an awareness in my life because I've died 5 times now, or I've had to be resuscitated 5 times now.
Sorry. We should have said that at the get-go. If you've died more than once, you might relate to Dave's story. We'll come back to that and get some detail in a second, by the way. But yeah, go on.
But for me, it just underlines that life is short and life is here for life itself. What's the meaning of life? Life.
Oh, I got it right. Do I get a sticker? again, the sense of mortality, the sense of being alive for the joy of life itself. Where does believing in God and following in Jesus' footsteps, what does that have to do with that for you?
For me, that's the foundation. That's what everything else is built on. I have experienced too much to not have to have a foundation.
Wow. When I think of the overall conversations that I have with men, and obviously you do too, I often use just the term "the ground beneath your feet." How do you continually, or maybe you've just lived solidly for a couple of decades now, and the ground hasn't shifted, and you feel like it's been fairly safe. How long has it been safe for, and do you remember when it wasn't?
I don't think that I am looking anymore for safety.
Yeah.
I think I am at peace with whatever comes. So I don't need life to be safe. I don't need life to be stress-free. I don't need life to be anything more than life itself. And life itself, it's like standing on a deck of a boat in a storm. You've got to keep shifting your weight, shifting your focus, shifting your ground. Otherwise, you're going to go over. So for me, that's life. I'm just constantly adjusting to the life that is around me right now.
Yeah. Safety is not stagnant.
No.
And I think, again, so, have you stopped dying now?
I don't know. I'm going to do it once more, at least.
So when was the last one? How long ago?
2005. That was the 45-minute one.
Yeah. And you said you've died multiple times, though?
Yeah.
Since or before?
No, before.
Before?
Yeah.
But the really cool one was?
Well, that was the one we thought was going to be the final one.
Right. You still choose to work, you still choose to serve. You do it despite potentially or because of, it sounds like, your experiences. What is it the work that is the fuel for you?
Not necessarily. I think that we have that old conversation as ministers about, is this a call or a vocation? So is this a job that I've studied to do, or is there a call on my life? Yeah. I think there's a far deeper part question there, and this is the expression of my faith. This is the expression of who I am. This is authentic me.
Beautiful. I always tell the kids, because the kids ask me sometimes, and I think my answer still to this day is kind of, it's the thing I can't not do. I love using a double negative to explain it. It kind of helps. But why do I do it? I don't know. I just, this is what I do. Every time I turn around to not do it, I end up doing it anyway. So I can't not do it. And it seems to build myself and others up. You're on father figures. You've been gracious with your time, and I appreciate it. Is there some, general encouragement that you would give to guys who are in the grind right now? And parenting is a grind because, again, if you've met one child, you've met one child.
Yep.
If you've met one parent, you've met one parent, and there's no two families that are alike. But yeah, is there an encouragement that you'd throw out there for us?
What I would say to any man, whether he's a father or not a father, is that who you are, your character, your value, your expression, if it is authentic, is your gift to the world. Give it well.
Dave Drummond, thanks for being on Father Figures.
Thank you so much for having me.
Okay, so I'm not sure if you were taking notes today, but if you didn't get a chance because there was too many nuggets of gold wisdom, go back and just get the transcript. The internet has it. The internet has the things, doesn't it? The robots know. You'll be able to do it. Anyway, the point is this. I loved that conversation, and I hope you did too. You can replay it anytime because, hey, it's on the internet. I really hope that something that was said today has helped just recalibrate your day a little bit, and that maybe you can go back and hear a few more things every now and again, just to help us all understand that we all have just struggles. We all have things where we fall short and wish we were better at, wish we were stronger at, wish we were more able to do. And then I sit with a guy like Dave who says, from all of this crazy that happened in my life, here's the way I found the ground beneath my feet. And really, this whole season of Father Figures, talking about change management, noticing that change is happening, noticing what you notice, trying to build back capacity and courage for every person that is listening. I just hope that some of what was said today has helped just put some ground beneath your feet. And we pray that you would take courage as you navigate change with us. God bless.